Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a tutorial today on this look, which is kind of like a pinky, shimmery eye makeup look. I apologize for my hair, which it's not even worth noting. I pretty much apologize for my hair every time. I'm just not really a hair person, but I'm working on it. In the meantime, what I'm using today is the Karity Rose All palette. Let me open it up and show you what it looks like. It's really pretty. I actually even use some of these colors for blush. I focused on the pink colors today because they have these like browns and stuff and this like really beautiful bronzy kind of gold, which I think I'm gonna get a lot of use out of too. But I wanted to focus on the pink colors. Now what I'll say about Karity is I'm really excited to have found this brand. Their whole goal is good quality makeup. I believe it's made in the USA. The shipping is really quick. It's only just a couple of days usually. It took a little bit longer this time because they were having a Labor Day sale, so they probably had a lot of orders to get out, and then it was the Labor Day weekend. So it took a few extra days, but still it was really fast. I have a feeling it comes from New York City. I wonder if it's even made in New York City. I live very close to New York City, like 30 minutes, so that might be why. If anybody has ordered from this brand outside of like the New York or the tri-state area, let me know how long it took for the products to arrive. So spoiler, I will say that I like the palette a lot. I would like to use it more so that I can really kind of like know exactly how I feel about it. Like I got to spend a little more time with it. I used it 1.5 times so far. I played with it today for today's look, and then I was using it last night, just playing with it as I was cooking dinner. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but sometimes I get new stuff and I'm so excited, and I'm more excited about playing with the makeup than cooking dinner. So I was sort of like sidetracked with that. Dinner came out just fine though. Came out just fine, don't worry. I will also tell you that I got this one. This was the first one that I ordered from this company. This is the 21 Nudes and Rudes, and I was Rudes. This is the 21 Nudes and Rudes, and I was really impressed with this palette. This was the first palette that I ordered. I think this was around $20 or $30. I can't remember if it was 21 or 29. Either way, I thought it was a really good deal. So far, very happy with the colors. Now, what I'll tell you about them is they're not the super soft pigmented shadows that you would get from like an Anastasia Beverly Hills, like for example, the Modern Renaissance. I love these too, but these are like, they don't take any building up, which can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. Sometimes you put these colors on and you're like, whoa, that's a lot of color. What's nice about these kinds of colors, and kind of similar to matte colors too, is they take a little bit of building up. And that's not to say that they're not great quality, but if I'm working with shadows in my kit, I prefer to use shadows like this, and mostly MAC is what I use in my kit, because I find them a little bit easier to work with. There's less room for error, and I can build slowly so I can get the look that I want. I think that different qualities of different shadows can be good in different ways, but I feel like you have to know what you're working with so you know how much pressure and how much building you'll need, if that makes sense. So far, I really, really like this one. I would say if I had to give it a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give it like an 8. I think it's a great, great palette. The Rose All Day, I'm kind of more on like a 6. It's like a 6, maybe 6.5. Maybe if I play with it a little bit more, I might like it more. I just felt like it took a little bit of building, and I felt like the shadows were a little bit on the thinner side, so they were sheerer. So I didn't love that. But like I said, I'm gonna keep playing. I found that eyeshadow primer is absolutely crucial with the Rose All Day. And I'm fair, so I would think if you're a deeper skin tone than me, it would probably be even more crucial for these colors to show up. So I'm just gonna say that. I like it a lot. And then I have another one that I will be bringing up in a tutorial soon, which is the 9 Nudes and Rudes. But what's nice is there's no crossover. I have the 21 Nudes and Rudes and the 9 Nudes and Rudes, and they're actually all different colors. I'll show you side by side. There's a lot of similarities. I don't think you need both, but you know, they're really nice palettes. And I found this one just from playing with it. I feel like I'm gonna like it more than the Rose All Day. So I don't know if that all makes sense as I blabber on, but bottom line is if you wanna see this tutorial, stay tuned, and I'm gonna show you some products that I've recently acquired and have been really enjoying. That's kind of what today's look is about. Okay, hair's out of the way. Let's go right in with a little HD foundation stick. This is the Makeup Forever one. This is the first one that I ever tried. It's not quite my favorite, but I do enjoy it. It's a little yellow for me, as you can see, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because it makes my face match my neck and my chest, which has a little bit more tan than I really ever let my face get. Pretty much keep my face covered in hats and sunscreen, so it's always a little bit pinker and paler than the rest of my body. And I'm just blending it in over moisturized skin. I find that's really key. And then this is the NYX HD Concealer. I picked this up in Canada, actually, and I'm really enjoying it. I had a great experience at the NYX store there, and I'm just hoping that they will come and open one near where I live in New Jersey. I mean, of course, you can buy it at Target and ULTA and everywhere, but it was just nice to go to a dedicated NYX store. So this is the Karity Rose All Day, aforementioned in this video, and a MAC 217. MAC 217 is kind of like the brush that I use when I'm not really sure where I want to start and what I want to do. And I'm just taking that light color in the bottom left and I'm putting it all over the lid. This is over my concealer that I've also powdered slightly. I always like to do the concealer and then the powder. You can also use a primer. You can use really whatever you like, but I find the colors kind of pay off a little bit better. So just kind of making it up as I go along. I'm putting that rosy color in the outer corner. And I'm just going to circle and buff it kind of into the crease and just kind of like floof it in the inward direction. No rhyme or reason, just circles and swipes and that sort of thing, just adding a little more color. And I find that when I do the concealer first and the powder, I just find whatever I put on top will blend a little easier. No, it won't be quite as vibrant color payoff wise, but I find the blend is easier. And then the color just adjacent to it, it's a little more of a pinky color, a little cooler pink, and I'm gonna add that right inside where I put that first color with a slightly smaller brush so that I don't cover it completely, covering more surface area with the first color, as you can see. And I'm just gonna kind of blend it in. And I kind of tilt my head down, up, and I kind of check my work as I go, because sometimes if you have a deep set eye and a deep crease like I do, you can kind of miss a spot in that crease if it's deep enough. So it's good to kind of like tilt and sort of like lower your lids so you can see what's going on. So I went in with this color, I believe it's called Prosecco, and I was a little disappointed with the color payoff, so I went back in and then I wet my brush after because I don't want to put the wet brush in just in case it doesn't go well with these powders. If you repeatedly wet your brush and put a wet brush in your powders, you may sort of change the powder and it might not be a good thing. So it's looking a little more shimmery. And at this stage in the game, it's totally fine. I can always layer. I did find with these shadows, they did require a little more layering than I had signed up for. Like I had mentioned earlier in the video, I like shadows, like I guess I'm kind of a matte girl. I like shadows that I have to build gradually because they help me get a better result at the end. Maybe the way I'm trained, the way I'm used to working. But these powders, I found they weren't quite the payoff that I wanted. I've used other Karity shadows and I was more impressed, which prompted me to buy more palettes from this brand, but this is not my favorite. Did I enjoy using it? Absolutely. So anyway, let's fast forward and just catch up where we are. We went in with a dark brown liner, and then we're just kind of taking that flat stiff brush. This is a MAC 239, and I went over with a little more shimmer and kind of whatever was left, I just kind of dragged it along the lower lash line. I find for myself, if I just drag a little shadow and then I go in with mascara, that's usually enough of a lower lash line. If I were to go in with my pencil, I sometimes find that's a little too harsh, and at my stage and my age, I want things to be a little more top heavy and a little more lifted, so I go pretty easy on the lower lash line in general. It's not to say I don't drag the shadow a little lower, I just go a little more smoky and diffused rather than a sharp line. And I notice in general, as you get older, you want that bottom lash line to be a little less intense, and I find that it's just a little more flattering. So I've gone in with a second concealer to give me a little more brightening. It's the Tarte Shape Tape. I like to layer these two. I sometimes find Tarte Shape Tape is a little too cakey on its own, but over the NYX HD one, it worked really well. And now I'm just setting everything before it has time to crease. Going in for the brows and a little bit, or the brows are going to come later actually, I was just kind of combing them through. But this is one of my favorite bronzers. This is the Marc Jacobs Omega, and it is really mega. It is a big bronzer. You can use it really, really generously. And I just add a little color to my cheeks, to the top of my forehead. Now that I have bangs, I feel like I don't really have to do anything to my forehead, but let's pretend I don't have bangs. I'm going to do the whole face. And then I kind of just drag it down my neck, just so my neck isn't too pale. So now I'm going in with these 4 colors, and I'm actually going to use them for blush. And because the shadow pans are not, you know, a large blush size pan, I'm using this smaller brush. And because I wasn't sure how they were going to look at first, I went in with a very light hand. And I will tell you, these work really nicely as a blush. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to build slowly. Yesterday when I was playing with it, I went a little too heavy on my cheeks in my kitchen because I wasn't really paying attention. And I was like, oh goodness. So today I kind of knew just to build slowly and gradually. And this is a great blush and face palette. I don't see why not. And then I just always kind of take whatever's left in my blush brush and I'll kind of throw it into my crease and over my brow bone. And then if I feel like I've done a little too much, I'll go in with a big powder brush and I'll just kind of like mush it in a way, for lack of a better word. Just catching up, I used some of those shimmery colors just on my cheekbones and a little bit on my nose and my Cupid's bow, and then mascara. And you can see I've added the mascara to the lower lash line, and look, it really does add more definition. So you can always go in and add more, but always know that if you're going to be putting mascara on the lower lash line, you probably need less eyeliner than you might initially think. So I used Revlon Cherries in the Snow, which is a pretty bright color for me, but I thought it would be really fun to do like pink lips, pink cheeks, pink eyes, and then this is the MAC Fix Plus in Pinklite. All right guys, that is it. My goal this fall for this channel is to do a new tutorial each week. It won't always be on me. I have some friends coming over for a little bit of variety for you and for me. So I hope that you will like and subscribe and comment, and we can get this conversation going. Have a great day.